So Michael's going to talk a little bit about what might be an option for us, and then we're going to have an opportunity to have a conversation. We've got index cards and pens, and hopefully we'll go for about an hour and 20 minutes, and then wrap it up. So.
Thank you, Reverend. Again, thank you all for coming. This is a great opportunity for this area of town. Right now we have the old tow yard right next to this building. The city bonded $20 million for acquisition of open space throughout the city. This is one of the potential sites in the city of Hoboken. I know we all have a vested interest in this particular spot, and that's why we're here tonight. My plan for that is to really start the ball rolling so that when the money becomes available to purchase that lot, we then have a plan in place, or at least a vision in place, for a new potential park in the ward. That's why I asked everybody to come here tonight. I'm very, very happy. My wife and daughter are actually walking in right now, so that's why I turned away. Oh, honey. Sorry, everyone. Have a seat. So again, we're here to start to build that community consensus as to what we want to see. There's a parcel of land in the southwest area of town that is light years ahead of us, in the sense that they have their vision, they have their plan, and they know what they want to build on that parcel of land. And that is one of the parcels that we're talking about acquiring as well. So I'm hopeful that tonight we can bounce around some different ideas. We could talk about the various options, but right now it's a blank canvas. So we have representation here, of course, from the Jubilee Center. We have representation here from Hoboken Catholic Academy, and then the neighbors in the neighborhood, Juliana, of course, as well, and then other people from the area. So this is going to be a meeting about ideas. That's why we're here. That's the starting point, and hopefully we'll build something that we all want the community to be very happy with the final result, and we'll be prepared to build that park as soon as that money's available to acquire that park. So again, I'm going to turn it back to Reverend Curtis. He's then going to start the ball rolling here, and we're going to open it up to the floor.
So we've handed out some index cards, and I think what we want to do is begin by just brainstorming, just letting ideas kind of flow as to what might be some possibilities for this piece of land, and you know, start there, and just let people articulate. So if you would tell us your name, and I think it would be helpful if you tell us where you live in relationship to this piece of land, and some of your ideas from that. And we'll go around that first, and then maybe if we pick up one or two particular ideas that we want to pursue, we can deal with that. I can start from working here. Particularly, we need land for the kids to be able to go and play on. We have kids that we can go down to Mama Johnson's field periodically to get the kids out, but we don't have any place where the kids can go swimming locally. I mean, so in the summertime, to have an idea, even if it's just a 3-foot pool for the younger kids to go and hang out in, that's something that we've needed in this for the programs that we're running. And if we could get a small ball field of some kind for very little kids, I'm not talking about, you know, a big major ball field, but something that the kids from like K through 4, K through 6 could play on, that would also be something for me that would be an important asset for this piece of land.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Rose Perry. I live at 264 5th Street, but I'm the principal over here at the Hoboken Catholic Academy, 555 7th Street. And the idea of having a park is very attractive and lovely, and we really need the outside space. I'd love to have my students utilize it. My children, my students, as same thing, right? As we're expanding the school, we have a good enrollment, and I've had to take some of my outside space for modular classrooms. So the idea of having a park, an attractive park so close by, we would love to be able to utilize that. I have to have the street closed during the day to have the outside space on 7th Street, but it's rather dangerous, as you know, to do that. So I'd rather have the children be able to use the park, and that would be my wish and my input. Okay? Thank you.
We're talking about the entire, I mean, literally, it starts from right outside the building, down to the corner, and then it kind of makes like an L shape. So the entire tow yard, you know, the third ward is, and it's funny because we don't have a lot of open space options. There's two other options in the ward that are much smaller than this parcel of land. And it's always kind of been that way. So we've never really had the opportunity to have a bigger park within the ward. And this is our, at least in the near future, this is our last shot to have a larger continuous park. Sir?
My name is Mark. I'm right across the street from Juliana. These projects always seem to have two major components to them, and they can live or die by one or the other. There's the cost of acquisition, and then there's the cost of development. How much are we looking at in terms of, roughly, of acquiring the land? That's the first question, then I have a follow-up to that.
And again, very good question. We have $20 million allocated. We don't know how that's going to be broken up. Right now, it's incumbent upon us as the neighborhood to really get the ball rolling, keep the pressure on, so that we could acquire this land. There isn't. There were a few estimates during different times, so there really isn't a price tag on it. But that's really the question that we have right now. How much is it going to cost us? I think the acquisition, of course, is the most important right now, because once that land is gone, it's gone.
I had a question. That gentleman asked the question I was going to ask. If there were, in addition to the acquisition cost, were there cleanup costs involved? And I think you are addressing that there potentially is cleanup costs on top of the acquisition too.
Absolutely.
Well, is there the political will to use the eminent domain if needed, to help you in your negotiations, I would imagine, or?
Again, I don't think the council, or at least right now, the council makeup has expressed any interest in using eminent domain. I think we have a willing seller at this point. She has approached the city multiple times with past administrations, and I even believe with this current administration, to start that conversation. So there's a willing seller there.
Well, the price is 4 times what it's worth.
Of course, but negotiation is key there. Councilman?
Yeah, my name is Dave Mello. I'm actually city councilman along with Michael and at-large, so I represent all the wards. And I'm glad that point was brought up about if the site's dirty or not. This is a city that historically, the entire western half of the city was industrial. And so I doubt there's a site that wouldn't involve some remediation. There's not many that we probably have a real grasp of the amount of remediation other than the former Henkel Cognis site, because that's been looked at more thoroughly. So I think anything would involve some element of that, and you'd want to factor that in when you acquire. I'll probably disagree with Councilman Russo when it comes to eminent domain. I think you're going to need that in different parts of the city as we look at different pieces of land. And to Mr. Doyle's point, if you don't have to use it, you might have to ask yourself, is it because you're paying too much? And you want to be careful of that, because we're a small city, we're a mile-square city. As much as we can talk about wards, maybe it's because I'm speaking as an at-large councilman, none of us live that far from each other. You don't want to sacrifice just advocating for a ward to the point where you jack up the price of open space throughout the whole city. I think we should get greedy. I think we should try to acquire as much as we can. I would love to see us acquire this piece of property and 6 acres in the southwest, which is something that got me involved in politics in the first place. I think we can do both. I think we need to just have the will as a community to do both. And I think those were great points to be made. As for this piece of property, personally, I didn't play football in high school. I swam. I'd love to see the outdoor pool that we talked about.
Are there any recreational uses of that land that can be allowed without a full environmental cleanup?
Good question. I'm not an expert in the area, but I doubt it. I think there would have to be some kind of environmental cleanup there. Okay, John.
What hours will the park be open until?
It was ready to go.
And will there be plants in it?
Well, again, we're very early in the stages. We don't know what times the park are gonna be open, but most of the parks in the city are open all the time. But you should not be out very late, so you won't be there that late. And yes, I would like to see not just active space, but some beautification of the neighborhood as well. So hopefully we will have plants and trees and all those things that are gonna make the neighborhood pretty. Everyone, I'm sorry, we have Assemblyman Ramos who just walked in. He's been around. Ruben's been a very big advocate here in Hoboken for open space, and he was very happy to be invited tonight and very happy to jump on board and help us acquire this parcel of land, so.
Good to see everyone here tonight. I know Councilman Russo was talking about a park initiative for next door's property, correct?
Yes.
And so wherever role we could play at the state level in acquiring funds, whether it be remediation funding or acquisition funding or what have you, we've been successful in the past doing that with the 600 Park Avenue and things of that nature. So whatever you need from me in the ward, or throughout the city, I'm here to support any initiatives you guys have throughout the city for open space and acquiring parkland. We got the $1.5 million from the state through the county to fix a sinkhole up in 12th Street, Sinatra Drive. We got $1.5 million about a year and a half ago for the soccer field collapse there. So whenever they got moving on that, there is money already acquired from the state to help with that initiative as well. So whatever you guys need from me at the state level, please reach out. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Assemblyman.
Here tonight. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
So again, it's nice too to hear that helps a little bit with any cleanup that we might have to do on this parcel.
One of the questions is, do we need to form some kind of an organization that presents something to the city rather than just waiting for the city to act?
It's a great suggestion. I can't stress enough how important it is that all of us stay involved. That's how we get this done. Where we could call ourselves whatever it is we may wind up calling ourselves, like Southwest 6. But yeah, I do like that suggestion, Reverend.
Central 7.
Yeah.